Hey guys, thank you so much for joining another episode of Price on Purpose. I am your host, Stacy Price. It is another Wednesday. It seems like the days just keep going, but I want to start this off by saying thank you so much for being here, and let's continue to be the change that we want to see in life. Hope you guys are well. Hope everything's good. Hope you guys are, moving and shaking. It is. I have some exciting news to announce at the end of the show, but let's get started on today's talk. So, I was watching this show called, I think I had it pulled up. It's called Marketing the Messiah. So, it was about Jesus and pretty much how back then, back then, Bible times, uh, a lot of people were around him and how people perceived him. So I encourage you to watch it. It is on Amazon Prime and you could check it out. It's really interesting just to see how historians kind of pick apart the Bible to determine when things actually happened or if they did happen and what people's idea of Jesus was. So I was looking at the word gospel, right? Because they were talking a lot about that. They were just like, oh, the gospel was this. And then I was like, gospel. What the? I was like, you know what? Now the more I say gospel in my head, it sounds like Godspell, like gospel. Because if you look at the English language, as we kind of started talking about a couple weeks ago, there are a lot of words that people misinterpreted because it was actually either slurred or combined with other words that people recognize. So when I looked up the word gospel to see what it meant, I actually found out that good story was the meaning of the word. So, for example, I have here on Google from Britannica.com. So let's hope they're a credible source. Okay. It says the word gospel is derived from the Anglo-Saxon term Godspell, meaning good story. And they have some other terms here saying, in Greek, it could be good news or good telling. And that triggered something in my brain because I'm like, good telling, good story. I don't know why, but it made me think about what it's like getting up in the morning. You know what I mean? And like what we tell ourselves, even throughout the day. Because I've definitely been someone that I used to be able to like see something that would happen in life and be like, oh, so this is how this day is going, right? This is what's gonna happen, huh? Like you ever have that? Like where you just like something happens, and you're like, great, I knew this would happen. I knew it. I knew it. We kind of spoke about that with uh what's the book called? Making Bets. Annie Duke's book. We kind of spoke about that and how to be nicer and kinder with ourselves to make conscious decisions and to be like, look, sometimes you're going to make a decision and you don't have all the facts, right? It's kind of like our day because sometimes something happens and we let it dictate our entire day. I know I'm definitely guilty of that. Sometimes things will happen and I'll be like, well, all right, well, I guess this is how this is going to go today, you know? So I said, what is the God spell that we put on ourselves? Because we all know, I'm trying to sit back. Well, it's been a day. So let's think about this. So with gospel, a lot of us have listened to gospel music. Shout out to all you guys. Let me know what you listen to if you listen to gospel music. Because recently I've been listening to a lot of speakers like Joel Osteen and Joyce Meyer and listening to a lot of gospel music. Because the funny thing is, when I was growing up on Saturdays, my mom used to play gospel music, and that's how I knew it was time to clean. I'm like, no, not again. You know what I mean? But it was to put yourself in a good mood. Think about what gospel music does. You know what I mean? It's positive music, optimistic music to help you get through your day or the moment. So, although we may not want to do the task, it actually really helps. So, I thought about that because we put that on when we want to be in a good mood. But what do we do for us when we want to be in a good mood? What is the good story we're telling ourselves? Like, are we saying, oh, this is how my day is going to go? Or are we saying, you know what, this happened, but I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. This is not going to dictate my day. This moment is but a blip in reality. And technically, as soon as it happens, it's in the past. We don't need to drag it along to be like, oh, we're gonna have a stupid week. It's gonna be messed up. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be that way. So I even used to think about, and this is like literally, some people be like, you're so positive, you're so optimistic. Like, how are you just always happy? No, I'm not. But the thing is, there's ways to deal with life. There's ways to deal with things that are not always happening in our favor that don't have to dictate how our day goes. Like, we have to be careful about what we speak into existence, because once we say, well, I guess that's how my day is going to go, I remember, let me know if you've ever heard somebody say this. Of course. Of course today it's going to rain. Of course. You're like, "What? Like, how did you plan this?" I used to be like, "Did you plan this? Is this something I need to know?" You know what I mean? Or something like, "This always happens to me. It doesn't fail. It always happens to me." Of course. Of course this is going to happen. See, things like that, we don't even realize is that you start to operate out of that frequency. So for example, when you say, "This always happens to me," what's going to happen is, now think about it like your brain is a radio and there's multiple stations. You ever like listen to the radio? Some of you, do you guys know what a radio is? Like, I know some millennials are like, what? So a radio is like a television, but with sound. Okay. You turn it, and sometimes it goes, and then sometimes it's like, oh, the ball game is lit. Like, that's a radio. Okay. There's no picture, it's just sound. Little millennial joke. But anyway, so the thing is, sometimes we tune in to that disadvantage. We tune into a gospel that's not even gospel, because it's not even a good story. It's a bad narrative for us, because now we're operating on that frequency to look for all the bad in our day. I've definitely done it. I'm guilty. I've done it. I've done it where I'm like, this day is gonna suck. Like, as soon as something, I'm like, I quit today. I quit today. And then I'm like, why are we doing this to ourselves? So some of you may know, about 2 years ago, I started an experiment. And the experiment was to see if I could change not only how I thought, but also how I spoke, and to see what would happen. Because I started listening to motivational speeches every morning, because I realized when I was going through depression, it would actually help. So I started listening to these speeches, and I've been doing that for, this is probably the third year now. And I realized not only have I evolved from the motivational speeches, I've changed the types of books I read too. You know, I started reading books like Think and Grow Rich, a lot of books by Napoleon Hill, a lot of books by, or I've listened to speeches from Earl Nightingale, and I've just been putting that in my brain. I completely stopped watching the news. I do not watch any news, none. And some people go, well, how do you know what's happening around you? I look outside. I look out the window. That's how I know what's happening with me, or for me, I should say. And so people are like, but what about Beirut? Do you know what's going on in Beirut? Do you know what's going on in like Punta Cana? Do you know what's going on in China? Not really. I don't. And it's not that I don't care. It's that I know it doesn't serve my gospel. You know what I mean? Because yes, I do have compassion for people, and I have compassion for everything that people go through. But the thing is, how do you feel when you watch it? How do you feel at 6 p.m. when you turn the news on and somebody's died, or there's another robbery, or they're talking about, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. You got to be aware and mindful of these things, because we do it with everything. You know what I mean? Check into your gospel. Check into your God spell, because the thing is, just like with gospel and how it makes you feel good, sometimes we're not even aware of our environment. Oh my goodness. I was supposed to go live on Podbean. Oh my God, I forgot about my Podbean, folks. Hold on. Start. All right, there we go. Is it playing? I don't know. Let me see. Nope. Usually it highlights when I'm speaking. Interesting. All right. Let's just hope that it's recording. But shout out to y'all on Podbean. I really hope this is working because usually it'll go blip, 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 blip. It's not doing it right now. But anyway, yeah, we have to be aware of our gospel, be aware of the spell that we put ourselves under. Because what ends up happening is not only is it our environment, it could be the people we're around, it could be also where we work. Think about it. You know, you go to work, right? So for those of you guys that still like work a 9 to 5, are there people that you work with that you just know you're not going to go on a lunch break with? You're just like, not going to happen with Suzette. Suzette is always complaining. And there's a reason why you're kind of like, I don't want to deal with that. Because what we don't realize is that stuff is transferable. That stuff can affect our gospel. So, for example, if we go out into the world, right? So let's say I'm listening to my motivational speeches, I feel ready to go. And she comes around and she's just like, oh my God, you know what happened today? You know, this is that. It's too much. It's too much. And eventually it becomes part of your day, even though you don't want it to be. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not saying you can't be there for somebody, but you got to start setting up the boundaries. That's going to be another discussion for another day, talking about boundaries. But it's very important to be aware of how you feel around certain things, when you watch certain things, people you spend time with, all types of things. You've got to be aware of this because it can affect the spell that you're under. Because if you think about it, why not put yourself under a spell where you're moving and firing at all cylinders, or you're moving and firing in a sense where you're on fire? Who doesn't want to be on fire? Not literally. Not literally. I mean, in general. You want to feel good about what you do, right? You want to be able to get up in the morning or get up whenever you do, and you want to be able to feel like you can take on the world in a sense. You don't want to get up feeling like crap. And feeling like crap is, I guess I got to go to work again. You know, feeling like crap is, if somebody says one more thing to me, I'm going to snap. That's when you're like getting pushed to that edge where you're trying not to lose your head. You know, not my own lyrics. But those are those moments you have to be aware of. Because if there is a job or there is a moment or a space or whatever it is where you feel like, I don't know if this thing is on. But anyway, if you ever feel like you're in those moments where it's like, I can't take any more of this. What is it that you can't take any more of? Because now this is becoming a part of your gospel. And you don't want to keep having that go round and round like that, because eventually there's a limit. Everybody has that breaking point where it's like, I don't know how much of this I can take. You know what I mean? And why even get there? Sometimes you got to take a step back. Actually, we were talking about this earlier today on spontaneity. So check out spontaneity every Wednesday at 11 a.m. It's our new time. We were talking about burnout. And I thought about the thoughts that we may or may not have in our minds sometimes, where we think we could take on everything, but realistically, we can't. We actually have to take a step away and be like, look, can I do this? Like, can I do this? You know what I mean? Sometimes it's best to like really check in with yourself. And the only way to do that is to sit with yourself. I had a tweet that I posted the other day saying, I'm trying to remember, it was pretty much saying, be mindful of other people's purpose. Use it as an idea, not as a template. Because the thing is, sometimes we feel like we have to be this. So if somebody says, this is the idea of a husband, this is the idea of a wife, or this is the idea of a soccer player, or whatever it is, we feel like we have to own up to that. And we put ourselves under this ridiculous pressure. And our gospel becomes a sense where it's like, it's actually putting us at a disadvantage because we're trying to be something that we're not. We're trying to be this idea. And the thing is, that idea, like, not to say that you can't do that thing. So if you say you want to be, for example, I'll tell you what happened to me. So I know that little by little, I started to do more public speaking or speaking just to other people to coach them. And I said, you know what? I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to help people to feel better and to take the steps necessary to either help themselves out of depression or to just live a better life. And it starts with here. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can't change change the circumstance, but you can change the perception of the circumstance. So I wanted to do that. And by me watching all these speakers, I'm like, okay, I got to be like Eric Thomas. I got to come out with that voice. I got to be like, this person. I got to do this. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's how they do it. I am not Tony Robbins. I am not Eric Thomas. I don't look like them at all. You know what I mean? So I had to ask myself, like, what does it look like for me? What does it look like for me? What does a motivational speaker sound like for Stacy? You know what I mean? I had to operate out of my frequency and my delivery. And that's when I kind of like sat with myself, like, how does it sound to you? Like, do you feel good saying it like this? Like, is your inflection right? You know what I mean? And I had to step back and be like, okay, let's design this for me. That's how I'm going to move forward with this. And it took me a while because at one point I was like, damn, like, I'm never going to be like E.T. I'm never going to be like Tony Robbins. And that's some other gospel I have to deal with, because at the end of the day, I can rise to that level. Absolutely. There's nothing holding me back from that. But the thing is, I'm not going to be that, meaning the way they do it. I have to do it the way I do it. So let me know, guys. I've been doing a lot of talking here. It's 5:12. Is there something that you kind of like were like, oh, I thought I had to be this type of mom, or I had to be this type of friend, or I had to be this type of dad? And then you're like, wait a minute. That's the way they do it. This is the way I want to do it. So, sorry. I have a special announcement. I think I'm just going to get to it because I don't want you guys to be sitting here like, okay. Let me see if I can show you guys this. All right. So guys, should I drop the link first or should I just tell you? I don't know. Maybe I should just tell you. I don't have a drum roll. For the first time in Pryce on Purpose history, we've got merchandise. You too can support Pryce on Purpose by wearing. Just say it. Celia says I should just say it. Say it. I'm gonna show you guys too. So, oh my goodness, I'm a little nervous, guys. I'm a little nervous. Okay. So, for the first time, we have merchandise. I am so grateful to announce for the first time in my podcast history, we've got merch. Let me tell you a little bit about this. So y'all can get your t-shirts, your leggings, your mugs, your hoodies for fall. It's going to be fantastic. I need a pair of them leggings. I'm going to get that. I actually ordered some, but let me tell you about this. Everything happens in divine timing. Okay. And I heard this on a speech and I said, you know what? Let me think about this real quick because I had a moment the other day. Okay. And I thought about it and I said, you know what? I feel like this moment in time with all the access that we have these days, this would have not been possible for me several years ago because of the mindset that I had. I had a very limited mindset. And sometimes, and it's so funny that Celia is here because I was like, I don't know what talk to do today. Should I do cater your gospel or should I do blocking your blessings? But I think we're doing a little bit of both. Both. Wow, both. So for me, the way I thought about my podcast was just to help people verbally, give them advice and help them that way. But now I'm like, wait a minute. Shout out to Phil Better, the podcaster. He was like, yo, where's your merch? And I'm like, what do you mean merch? And you know what? It's always great to have support from others. And that's what this does. It not only supports the podcast to help the podcast keep going, but also it shows your support in a sense where You're repping divine timing, because at the end of the day, you have to remember, when you put this stuff on, your very existence, like the fact that you are here on this planet is rare. It's rare. Like, how did your parents meet? Like, how did that even happen to create you as you exist right now? You know what I mean? It only took divine timing for you to be here. It took straight up divine timing. Okay. So that's what this is all about. Things happen in divine timing. I'm posting the link here. So if you guys want to check it out of what could be available to you, get your sizes right. I'm going to have more stuff, because I realized, I was like, wait a minute, where are the shirts for the men? Where are the shirts for the men? I don't have any shirts for men, unless y'all want to be rocking that tank top. No shade. If you want to get, your little side chest out. But guys, I would really appreciate if you help support the podcast. It helps keep me going every day, and it helps to fuel the purpose, which is the Pryce on Purpose network. That's what we gonna do. That's what we move into. So you can go here. I dropped the link if you would like to get yourself some merchandise, and just let people know that you understand divine timing, and that everything that is meant to happen for you will. But like I said, it's about your gospel. It's about what you say to yourself. It's about what you do for yourself. It's about the frequency you move in. It happens in divine timing. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off the screen now. We back. But yeah, so that's the store. You can click the link here if you would like to purchase some merchandise and rock that. Be like, yo, you're not on that Pryce on Purpose. Like, you don't know about Pryce on. I don't know who talks like that. But anyway. It would help the podcast out a lot, and I love it already. I ordered 3 items already. I was like, look, we need some shirts and we need some mugs, so I can't wait to have that. Drink my tea out of every morning, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful, and I do feel that this moment happened in divine timing, because if it was a couple years ago for me, I would have been like, nah, not me. I have so many people around me where they're building their businesses and their brands, and they have merchandise and they sell it and they wear it. And sometimes, like, I have my friend, shout out to G Rocks, Play with Rocks, which is a sponsor of Pryce on Purpose. She always is decked out in Play with Rocks merchandise. I don't think this person has any other clothing but Play with Rocks. Okay. So I was just like, yo, I wish I could have more. Like, I used to be like, but I'm like, wait a minute, I can do this. So Phil was like, yo, like, he's like, how much? What's so funny? I was telling Celia, I was like, I'm going to tell them about it maybe another time. Everything I'm like, another time. I'm like, what am I doing with my gospel here? I'm telling myself I can't do it now. Why I gotta wait? Why I gotta wait? So make sure you guys go check it out there. I dropped the link so you guys can go check it out. I'll put it up here a little bit. It's really long. It's really long. So just click the link in the chat so you guys can get some of the merchandise. So I really appreciate your support as always. I'm really excited about it, because I'm just like, is that my man? You know what I mean? It feels good. It feels good to see it. And I literally ordered it like 2 weeks ago, and I'm just like waiting patiently. And when I say patiently, I'm impatiently waiting for it. So I want them leggings because I want to be working out. And somebody's like, oh my God, like divine timing, like what's that? You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, my existence. You know what I mean? But guys, just to sum up for today, pay attention to your gospel. Be aware of what you're around, who you're around, where you're going. You know what I mean? Because it's so important. Like, the thing is also, you can't tell yourself, like, how some people be like, oh, it was right there. I'm so stupid. Like, I mean, even to that, be careful about how you say these things, because when you say that, you start to believe it. You start to believe it. There's so many of us that operate out of that frequency and we don't even know. We talk down about ourselves. Look, there's a million people that can like hate you. There's a million people that can call you a failure. There's a million people that could be like, that person's an idiot. That person doesn't think right. That person doesn't. There's a million people out there that can do that already. Why are you going to add yourself? I always say that. Why are you going to add yourself? Don't do it. And the thing is, if you do it, Be a watcher of it. That's the thing. There's another talk that I'll do later about being kind to your mind, because that's something I'm learning to be kind to my mind and be kind to the way I think about myself and to be kind about the way I operate, because sometimes I put a lot of pressure on myself. Let me know if you guys do that, because I definitely do. I'd be like, everything needs to be 100% perfect. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to always be like that. It doesn't have to always be like that. Take little steps. Little steps. So let's conclude. One, be mindful of your gospel. Make sure that you're speaking prosperity and abundance into your life. Number two, be mindful of your environment, you know, because at the end of the day, if you're around something or someone that's like, "Eh," not for you, not for you. It's okay to say goodbye. It's okay to say goodbye. There's this comedian. He just keeps repeating things over and over again in different tones. Like, it's okay to say goodbye. It's okay to say goodbye. It's okay to say goodbye. He's really funny. I forgot his name, but whatever. But guys, I want to thank you so much for being so supportive to Pryce on Purpose. Like I said, each and every Wednesday at 4:55, you guys help me to become a better public speaker. I'm also putting it in the Podbean chat. Merch. I should say merch for your perch. I don't even know what that means. But guys, once again, please click like and click share on this video. I would greatly appreciate it. Like I said, it helps to get the message out to others. It helps to support the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. So make sure you click like and click share. Also, don't forget to go and visit the Pryce on Purpose store. Get yourself some clothes. You know what I mean? Okay, I got a little Google notification. It helps to support the podcast, so I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Make sure you be kind to yourselves. Make sure you be kind to your mind. Make sure you continue to be the change that you want to see. Once again, my name is Stacy Pryce. I am the host of Pryce on Purpose. I want to thank you guys for being here. And I will see you guys next week, same time, same place. Over and out.